moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates. I am Adana Combi, one of your hosts this morning, and we're here also with
Marcus Daniel Lull, Mr. Cricket.
Mr. Cricket.
Yes, good morning to Tobago and of course good morning to you, Adana.
Yes, good morning. It's Monday, the 7th of August, 2023, and it's a good day to be alive in the land of the living, and we thank God for that today.
Yes, indeed, Adana.
So, Marcus, what were you up to over the weekend? I know we have the Commonwealth Youth Games currently happening in Tobago, and I know you're a big sports fan. So let me hear a little bit about what happened, what you participated in and stuff. When I say participated, attended and stuff like that.
But, I mean, it goes without saying, we have the first ever Commonwealth Youth Games happening here in Trinidad and Tobago, and I mean, it's just difficult for me to miss. You know, even yesterday I attended all 3 events that we had on the island. It started with me going to triathlon in Buku Bay Beach, which was really, really exceptional. Started at 8:30, and I think we got concluded down there around midday. And I mean, the turnout of the locals and the performances of the athletes from around the world. I mean, albeit our local, the Trinidad and Tobago team didn't do as probably the locals expected, but the support for every single athlete or every single participant from the locals, that was really, really exceptional. And then I moved from Buku to Shaw Park, where we had the rugby sevens. And I won't tell you the scores down there, but the support again from the locals, exceptional. South Africa and I think it was Fiji I saw. I mean, my goodness. You know, just in the coming years, I can imagine those countries in terms of those athletes. And then I went back down to that side, the western side, in Blackrock for the beach volleyball. Unfortunately, our teams did not do too good. But again, the turnout was really, really good. And I must say that the Tobago public, they have supported this Youth Commonwealth Games. I guess it's because on the weekend. Not too sure what has happened today because today is, of course, a working day. But who goes to work on a Monday in Trinidad and Tobago? And probably on a Friday as well.
Don't say those things.
But yeah, the support has been tremendous. Today, again, we have volleyball and we have rugby at Shaw Park. And for the authorities that actually, upgraded Shaw Park, I mean, kudos. I mean, I'm a cricketer, and I can tell you that for years we have been coming for some upgrades at Shaw Park, and it's in pristine condition. I went down there yesterday, the dressing rooms, even the commentary booth, exceptional. So hopefully after Commonwealth Games, we can, have some cricket matches played at Shaw Park, the upgraded Shaw Park recreational ground. But yeah, that's it, and urging the public to still go out. I'm told that the games are free of charge now in Tobago, so you don't have to worry about paying. Just show up and support the youngsters.
Oh, I love to hear it. I really, really love to hear it. I love all the upgrades and I love all the support that came from the Tobago public. That's very important. Guys, we are at the morning show. This is Tobago Update. You're viewing us live on Amplier 102. I am Adana Combi and Marcus Daniel. Mr. Cricket is also here in studio with me. We are going to go straight ahead into News in 90 Seconds with our very own Candice Jackson.
The News in 90 Seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Thank you, Marcus and Adana. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 7th August 2023. The Police Complaints Authority, PCA, is investigating alleged misconduct by officers concerning conspiracy allegations made by Che Chief Secretary Fali Augustine. In July, he lodged a formal complaint, presented recorded videos of a whistleblower accusing senior officials of plotting against the THA. The PCA is conducting the investigation in Tobago, but the Professional Standards Bureau has not yet received an official complaint from Augustine. He has sought intervention from various independent bodies, including the DPP and the President. Meanwhile, the Transport Commissioner Clive Clark declined to engage in a debate about whether licensing officers from Trinidad need permission to conduct road exercises in Tobago. According to a newspaper article, he stated that the issue had already been addressed by Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan and the Permanent Secretary. The licensing officers were invited to Tobago by the Police Division to address traffic offences and safety matters. However, their presence has sparked complaints from commuters who find them disrespectful and intimidating. Clark defended their work and efforts to improve road safety, stating that the exercises would likely last about 6 to 8 days. And nationally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stated that the opposition's promise to introduce stand-your-ground laws and easier access to firearm users' licenses would not be possible even if they win the local government elections. He criticized their stand-your-ground law proposal, stating that it mimics the divisive American approach that grants excessive power to licensed firearm users. He emphasized that self-defense is already allowed in the country and highlighted that there are penalties for using threats or force against others. The Prime Minister suggested that, if necessary, the existing laws can be reviewed or revised. And that was the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Thank you, Candice. That was your news in 90 seconds. And of course, we're going to head straight into the birthday segment. And this segment is sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC. This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
On today, celebrating a birthday today is Miss Keelan James Elliott. Happy birthday to you, Keelan. Happy birthday. Who do we have next?
Yeah, Ricky Joe Field, of course, Mr. Luss himself. Of course, happy birthday to Ricky. Trust that you'll have a wonderful time today, Mr. Joe Field.
And we have Miss Kimberly Job. Happy birthday, my dear. We pray that you have a good day, a blessed day, a wonderful, awesome day today. Happy birthday to you.
And this is belated birthday shout-outs to Summer Alonzo.
Summer,
yes,
happy
Summer.
belated birthday.
And I saw her yesterday enjoying that birthday. So Summer, I know that you had a wonderful time, and they're going to have a wonderful time for the rest of the week.
Lyle Roberts, happy birthday. I'm going out to you from all of us here at Tobago Updates. Happy birthday to you, Lyle.
And it's Johnny Campbell. Happy birthday, Johnny Campbell. She's one of us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, happy birthday to Johnny. I hope that you have a wonderful day today.
And that's it for birthdays today. Happy
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Welcome back to the morning show on Good Morning on Tobago Update. On Tobago Update. It's Monday morning, you know, and we're happy that you're here joining us. As I said, we're on Amplia 102. And of course, Marcus, who do we have on our show today? We have a good show today. Who do we have? I see we have Eddie Stewart, is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurse Association, talking about the call for more nurses.
Yeah, and of course, we have Mr. Jesse Taylor, Cultural Officer 2 in the Division of Tourism and Culture. He's going to be talking about the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023, giving us a recap of what would have happened in the Tobago Heritage Festival.
And Mr. Rodil Clark, Superintendent of Trinidad and Tobago Police Services, of course, is going to bring the update from the TTPS officers in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
So that is what our show looks like today, guys, and we hope that you stay with us. Of course, we are going to go to Tobago in Focus, but before we go, we are asking you to do what? Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Exciting things are happening in sport in Tobago, particularly within the Sport in Education unit of the Division of Education, Research and Technology. This unit aims to expose primary school students to various sports within the school year at their schools and is responsible for enhancing these skills. Sport in Education Unit Sport Officer 1 Marcus Daniel and Ashal Legal explained 90% out of the 40 Tobago primary schools participate in the program.
At the schools level, that's the foundation. The athletes are actually learning. They dabble in different sporting disciplines. Sometimes you see an athlete doing track and field and really good. Then you see them doing football. Then you see them doing cricket. And at this level, it's just about sport for all and about participation. And you also find scouts and some clubs and some coaches will be at these events looking to scout athletes for their clubs. And we as a sport and education unit, we welcome clubs taking these talented athletes into their club to enhance what we put out there on a yearly basis in terms of events.
Football, track and field, cricket and netball are the sports offered at this time, but students will have the opportunity to participate in a lot more sporting disciplines in the future, according to Ms. Legal.
I didn't hear anybody mention swimming. Is swimming not on the list of these
well,
disciplines?
due to the fact that it's going to be reintroduced, hopefully soon, we actually intend to add a few new sports to the roster. We just can't reveal it yet until it's released.
Apart from the usual football and cricket,
there are some new ones that are going to be added, so that is something to look forward to.
And I think widening the gap here, widening the play field for our young players.
Let's give them different opportunities.
The United Nations Rights of the Child specifies the right to play and recreation, and many children have taken their newfound love of sport to gain success on the club level, representing Trinidad and Tobago on national teams, and even attaining scholarships. The Sport in Education unit assures that no child within the Tobago educational system will be left behind.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. And of course, this morning we're speaking with Edie Stewart, the president of Trinidad and Tobago Regional Nurses Association. And of course, the call is for more nurses in our health facilities. Right? Is Edie there? Good morning. Good morning,
Yes.
sir.
Pleasant good morning to you and your listeners. Thanks for having me.
Thank you and welcome to the show. So we're going to get straight into it. We're reading that, of course, the nursing staff is terribly understaffed. And that, of course, recently there was a protest demonstrating your dissatisfaction with the nursing population in terms of the ratio of nurses to patient care. Right, and you've taken a stand for that. And we just want to get a little update as to where that is, what was the cause of this, and what are some of your recommendations?
Okay, great. Thanks for having me once again. So the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nursing Association really is on a national drive to improve the quality of care to our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. It's really our, even before, above and beyond being a trade union, which we would try to seek improve socioeconomic conditions for our members. We are a professional association who is seeking to improve the quality of healthcare within Trinidad and Tobago, and we're trying to do it from within, as opposed to the top-down mentality which we have grown accustomed to as a society, where the politicians or some permanent secretary directs, or secretary for health, would direct how they want the healthcare system to be operated. We are trying to do it because we are on the ground working 24/7. In fact, there's probably no other category of staff who is always present within our healthcare facility. Always, no matter what situation you have within the healthcare system, it's nursing personnel. In fact, nursing personnel comprise 50% of all healthcare workers. So one would generally think that if you are creating policies, if you are creating any sort of mechanism to move and propel healthcare forward, you would want nursing personnel to be present. unfortunately, in Trinidad and Tobago, and to be honest, another number of other territories, internationally, regionally, there's just not enough nursing personnel within the system. And how certain territories has tried to counteract that is by implementing mandatory patient to staff ratios. Thereby, the institutions, those healthcare institutions, are now forced and they have something to work towards ensuring there are enough nursing personnel to properly and safely, and that's the key word, safely care for our beloved patients. What you have in Trinidad and Tobago is a situation where it matters not how many patients a nurse has to see about. They will keep bringing more and more patients, because as you know, we have been feeling as a society in terms of healthcare, we we focus primarily on sickness care. So we wait basically until you get sick and then begin to treat you. So it really has been overwhelming our healthcare facilities for quite some time. And you have a situation where, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago, in Trinidad, I should say, where you have sometimes one nurse seen about 14, 15, 20 patients at some points in time. And persons in Tobago would know that even though the situation is not as dire in Tobago, it's still an issue, because even when there are cases which cannot be handled in Tobago, they have to be transferred to Trinidad. That means the same low levels of patient to staff ratios which exist in Trinidad would affect those high priority cases which come from time to time transferred. So and the literature is clear. The best practice, the best opportunity for success of a patient to overcome their illness is to have a patient to staff ratio. For instance, in medical surgical wards, which is predominantly the largest volume of patients in those medical surgical wards, you ought to have one nurse, one registered nurse, to about 4 patients, max 5 patients. So that one nurse would see about 4 to 5 patients. So if you have a ward of 20 patients, you should really be seeing no less than 4 to 5 nursing registered nursing. Now there's other arms of nursing. There's the auxiliary and there's the supportive staff. So in Trinidad and Tobago, we have enrolled nursing assistants. Now the enrolled nursing assistant is to assist the nurse. The enrolled nursing assistant cannot replace the registered nurse. Yeah, and then you have patient care assistants also to assist the enrolled nursing assistant and the registered nurse. They are not to replace. But what we are seeing is, because we don't have enough registered nursing personnel, the government, successive governments, are trying to substitute the registered nurse with the assistants to the nurse. And that cannot be, it's actually illegal, because those persons cannot fulfill some of the duties the nursing personnel, the registered nurse, because all of them are nursing personnel, cannot really substitute those avenues. And you end up with a situation where you have one nurse, particularly on the evening and night shifts, where you have one nurse trying to see about 10, 20 patients in some instances in some hospitals in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And no matter how we bring this information to the government, they seem not to listen. Because again, they are not nursing personnel, do not understand the gravity. They reject the evidence that is already out there in the international domain.
But
Yeah, and I mean, you have spelled out a number of concerns there listed by yourself and your organization, and I'm guessing for you to reach to protest, you'd have actually had several discussions with the powers that be, and you are feeling that there's no relief to come for the registered nurses. I mean, tell us about the implications of not addressing this matter as soon as possible.
This matter is actually getting worse as we speak. It is getting worse daily. Reason being, we would have sequestered via the Freedom of Information Act the status of number of nursing personnel operating within every single regional health authority. And we did this since 2018, and we revisited it in 2022. So we have very up-to-date figures, and we are actually requesting more information as we speak. And what we are seeing is that while there was a manpower shortage, nursing manpower shortage, identified by the Ministry of Health and the Division of Health, of close to 3,000 nursing personnel back in 2018, when one would have thought that the ministry and the Secretary for Health and would be to address that short power, that manpower shortage of over 3,000 nursing personnel. What we have been seeing, especially during the pandemic and since the pandemic, is that we are actually going in the opposite direction. We're actually reducing our numbers of nursing personnel as we speak, as more and more nurses leave the profession. Despite we are training, we have 3 registered and accredited nursing schools and 1 that is not registered and accredited as we speak. So really and truly, there were 4 nursing schools as we speak. And even though hundreds of nursing personnel which are being absorbed by the RHAs will continue to have additional numbers. We are not addressing that shortfall. And this really has to do with the lack of the government to implement measures to retain nursing personnel. It's one thing to hire, continuously hire, but retaining those that you are hiring. In fact, as persons would know, you would have a number of nursing agencies recruiting nursing personnel from abroad, Canada, USA, Dubai, all over the world want our nursing personnel, primarily because we're quite good and also because English is our language. So the Caribbean is a real pooling ground for those recruiters. And they knew to pull persons. Long ago, they used to wait until you were about 2-3 years with experience. Now they are pulling you straight out of school. And the government's nursing personnel, just like the rest of the public service, still remain on 2013 in 2023. So all of those factors contribute. And then, too, there's a lack of upward mobility for nursing personnel. There are not a number of areas. There's not continuing education. You have to jump through hurdles to continue your education. Imagine in a profession where it should be mandatory for you to continue your education, to keep up to date with the best in healthcare. They actually preventing you, holding you back from continuing your education. So there's a number of factors. In addition to nursing personnel were temporarily employed, so you didn't have that no permanency within nursing. Still, as we speak in Tobago, they refuse to make nursing personnel permanent as we speak, even though we have been successful as an association in getting nurses in Trinidad permanently employed. The exercise has started, and a number of nurses are being made permanently employed in Southwest and NCRHA, what have you. Tobago still adverse to making nursing personnel permanent, so they continue in these short tracks. So there's a number of rules. And what does this spell to our patients? This means that, one, you will end up not having the quality of care. Your care will not be safe, it will not be effective, it will be efficient, it will not be patient-centered to ensure your clinical outcomes improve. So you have poorer clinical, you have longer hospital stays. You'll end up with a higher hospital overall bill because now more consumables has to be directed to you. You'll end up seeing patient falls. You'll end up seeing patients coming out with bed sores because you just don't have the manpower to be turning patients every 2 hours. Your nutrition will fall because you don't have enough patients to sit for about half an hour to feed a patient. Sometimes it takes that long for patients with nasogastric issues. So this and ultimately a death rate and that really be retarded, could be reversed if you have better patient to staff ratio. The evidence is clear. If you have that quota of one nurse to about 4 or 5 patients, your chances of recovery in as short as possible time, the turnaround time between when you enter hospital to when you leave is decreased. The ability for you to recover quickly is improved. So the evidence is clear, and we cannot understand why a government have no issue with spending billions of dollars, both borrowing and spending, that they would be willing to build more and more secondary health facilities, second hospitals, and these permanent structures, and just don't have the staff to put in these permanent structures.
Mr.
So it's a real,
we thank you so much this morning. We feel your passion and we understand the grievance, and we look forward to the updates on this as you progress in this plight for more nurses in our healthcare facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, we were speaking with Mr. Eddie Stewart, and he is the president of Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurses Association. Thank you, Mr. Stewart, for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to go to a break this morning, but of course, before we go, we're asking you to do what? Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Summerama, real steam for the summer at Standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, Standard. What you have? What you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more, we got more. Standards have what you're searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beaten on quality and price. It's nice. Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show. them once again. They better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show.
Inner Health, number 13B, Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. I'm Adana Combi, and of course we're talking to Mr. Jesse Taylor. He's the Cultural Officer too in the Division of Tourism and Culture, and he's here to give us an update on all things heritage. We just finished the Heritage Festival, and Mr. Taylor is here to give us an update as to how things happened, how things went, and the whole experience of the Heritage Festival. Good morning, Mr. Taylor, and welcome.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Tobago, all heritage lovers, practitioners, honorees, everyone, from artisan to cook to captain. I just want to say good morning, and I want to say a special good morning to my mother who's in Savannah with my family, my brother and his beautiful wife.
Right. So, Mr. Taylor, as I said, we just finished concluded the heritage season, and of course, it was a bumper heritage season as you tagged it. And so, we just want to get a little recap, the different events that took place, the participation of the Tobago public, and any reviews that you might have had from this season.
So, thank you. It was indeed to me a bumper season. I think from the very onset, the things that we would have had that occasion the festival's formal calendar of events really showcase the strength of the Tobago's legacy, the impact it has on the generation that has passed, what we still have with us, and those that I consider in the incubator stage. I think the Junior Heritage Caravan through the schools really alerted the population as to the possibilities and created an opportunity for talent discovery, for ideas and how you can channel eventually your socio-economic possibilities. And then that too was, should I say, parallel to our heritage on the road. And that in itself is bumper. I think the impact of it just landing in any government space or on any street, getting the people to take some time off of work and really creating nostalgia and reminiscence of time past. And that in itself augured well for the ushering of some of the other things we were able to do, the pre-events, the recycle way, the conversation with the delegates, the messages, and then subsequently bringing it to this ultimate finale on what's the opening night. And then all the other things that was so much a key ingredient to, should I say, the melting pot of Tobago's cultural legacy. And for that, eternally grateful for the opportunity and the privilege coming out of COVID, post-COVID, to be able to reignite in a real sense, physical sense, the possibility, and seeing it a reality was and still is something that I'm beaming about.
What are some of the things, or that one thing that you all did differently that you actually saw an impression on this year?
As it regards
the whole roll out of the heritage. You know, I know for certain that with the Miss Personality, it was a little bit different from what people expected or what people are used to in terms of having the recycle way first, as you mentioned, then the conversation, and then on the night, you just had, you know, the gown. So tell me a little bit about that.
I think that one, if we more time, I think that by now this festival is now 36 years old, and there should be some way a written template. I will be honest, the culture department walked into this with a planning committee that I virtually, even if I could say probably 30 plus years in the vineyard, I didn't actually have a hands-on knowledge of some of these things. So that one of the challenge was some of those legal things that we need to have done. How do we obtain, apply, and have bar license? So some of that did create a bit of a problem in its early manifestation. What are some of the things we need that is requisite for the road permits and stuff, and the timeline that governs that, which just shows that the embrace of the other stakeholders, and that's like Carter, the EME, and the police, fire, and so it's integral to a festival of this magnitude. So in review, I mean, you say once bitten, twice shy. I think that now that I have been bitten, I'm a little bit more shy in being bitten again. So I would look forward to doing those things if the opportunity presents itself to ensure that it's a smoother sailing. But one of the things I must say is that I consider this as a fishing expedition. I oftentimes refer to myself in other spaces as a fisherman. And because the fisherman has that unenviable task of being thrown out there in the sea with nobody, but the only thing you're hoping to is to come back. If not a kingfish, if not a bonito, if not a redfish, then at least an old wife. And I see that at the end of the day, you can create a dinner. And I'm happy that Tobago was able to create a dinner post-COVID, because the truth is we have lost a lot of the human resource, and not just only by death. People have, and then since COVID, have moved on to other things through migration, whether it be brain drain, people who just figure that we have just had enough. So it was about building on a foundation that might have been depleted for one reason or the other. Some you had control over, some you didn't have, because some people feel a sense of neglect, some people feel I've had enough, some people for religious reasons, some people just because they moved away. So I was happy to see the replenishing of that through the children. I certainly saw the hybrid between the young generation, the older generation, so you know that there's transfer of intergenerational knowledge and that kind of thing. That's important.
Yes, and I saw that too. You know, and I want to know, I saw a lot of people posting their videos, you know, in a social media era. So I saw lots of people posting videos of their experiences. For you, which event from the entire season, I know it might be difficult for you to select, but if you were to crown one of the events, which one would be yours?
It's just that I think I have to have that one crown with so many jewels inside, because I think each of them, and that's what I think that this year when we were able to look at them, at each of them, and recognize their importance, because to cross a Natural Treasures Day against the importance of the Salaka feast or the rituals at the done at the in Lekitu, or even that's what is recreated in Moriah. Each of them, they are so unique. The timing, the staging, the place, how you can't move some. You can't move a Natural Treasure from Charlottesville.
That's right.
But you can move a wedding into town. But then it's all equally important. So I will give all of them an A+. And maybe that's just me. So you see,
yes, so we've seen some of the visuals here on screen now.
Yeah, it's just I want to so take this time, you know, and I can't even. There's so much to say. I think the secretary, Tasha Morris, and Miss Megan Morrison, who this was Megan's baby, and I think she carried this baby so well and was so, you know, every day, every night, every early in the morning, she was all about how do we do? What is this? Did we get this? Do we get that? Ensure this is done. So, with all the right ingredients, I think we're able to create the right kind of pot, and on Emancipation Day, we saw the fruits of that, because we were able to honor 3 people posthumously, and then another 20 out of a part of 1 million people who have done so well for Tobago's development.
Right, and I know you mentioned earlier a little bit about the challenges, but what is your confidence like in terms of moving forward with Heritage next year and the years to come?
I think that we have been able to see, we are going to see from this year more community cohesion. I think we're going to see a renewed interest among the youths and a dedicated focus through the intermingling and the intertwining of what is age and experience and that has married and tied to youthful exuberance. I think also that I must say that the corporate sponsorship was so much a cushion for this festival. I mean, it was so rewarding to see so many people and so many organizations coming out and wanting to align themselves with this festival, and we've had challenges with them over the past. Another thing we saw was the heavy growth in Calypso, because we can almost say we've had a 200% increase in people wanting to sing and compete in Calypso, and we had to shorten even the amount of delegates we have for the Miss Heritage Personality. So,
well, that is
Tobago is
awesome,
good.
because if you say you had to reduce the list of persons interested in the Miss Heritage Personality,
Yeah.
and I think how many delegates
We
you had?
ended up having 7, and we
Right,
screened over 12.
and you had to right, and I think it's good, and I look forward to what is to come next year as she becomes more beautiful, and as you
Yes.
churn out more ideas, and as you celebrate more aspects of our culture
Thank
and
you.
stuff like that. I really look forward to any production that Mr. Jesse Taylor is attached to.
I try to see. I think that as we move, we carry the traditions, but we also have to admit that we're moving into an era of technology, and it's modern. And amidst that, we have other emerging trends. We are fighting with modernization and the implications of that and the effects that has on society, so that we have to make things attractive, and it has to be rewarding. And today's people appreciate, what do I get for doing this? What are some of the things that are beside the practice? How do we package this now to be consumed by a world that is influenced by so many different eras and so many different things? And I think that out of this, we can certainly see, we have seen and will see growth in what we do, the levels of what was done, the opportunity that presented itself for branding of the various things in the villages, and the research that went into a lot of these things that I was able to see has been a lot improved to years gone by. And it has been done in such a way that is not only entertaining, but it's very educational, and that's important to me.
And you made a very salient point there in terms of attracting people to come in, because of course you want to know what you're going to get out of it as
Precisely.
well. So that's very important to do as well. What are you all planning to do, or what is the intention? I know you just came out of the season, so you want to take a little recovery, a little time to recover. But how soon do you want to get back into the research, pooling your ideas, thinking about what are we going to do moving forward?
Well, as soon as it's possible, because I really believe that a festival like this should be launched earlier to allow people from the wider community to be able to participate. One of the things I saw, and I must credit T-Tal too for this, is that we had a lot of people in this space. We had the National Geographic people here doing some of the historical recordings of some of the things we've had. We had people from Bermuda. We have had people from the secondary schools. We had Naparima girls. There were a lot of people who came in during the festival and were able to benefit from what was presented. And I would like to think that this should be ongoing. Even as we pause, we don't even really pause, so we have the Commonwealth Games. And then in addition to that, we still have the Tourism Month coming up, and then it ushers up very soon the season that we all look forward to because of its economics and all of that, and the opportunity for entrepreneurship. That is the cruise ship season. So the need for review, constant review, is important, and it should be given high priority, in my opinion.
So do you think, you mentioned a lot of events throughout the entire year, right? Because Tobago is tourism based, right? We are a tourism place. Are you thinking about branding is the word. I don't know if branding is the word, but branding or tagging an event inside of an event as you move forward.
Yes, and that works. I think we're able to do that even at the Yam Festival, because at the Yam Festival we just didn't have the yam and the experiences of that and the derivatives that came from that, but we also were able to have the Little Miss Heritage and the Junior Miss Heritage. And alongside that, we also had Talk It Talk and Show Me Emotion. And we even were able to attract a sponsorship from Caribbean Airlines as part of the first prize. And also we were able to get things from I can't remember, Beverly Suites, and we were able to get other corporate sponsors getting inside. So even the event was targeted to the New York. It supported other elements and was an opportunity again for you to learn so much about the culture. And by doing that, I see it as a cultural cross-pollination, because you're able to bring other things that blossom, blooms, and becomes fruitful into the same space, while the sole intent goal is maintained and achieved.
Right. And before you wrap, Mr. Taylor, tell me, are you satisfied? Are you happy? Are you pleased?
I am, by many standards. I think one of the things I would like to also say is that the height that great men reached and kept. You know, they say were never attained by sudden flight.
That's right.
Because while other people sleep, that companion was toiling in the night.
That's right.
And I also see this one, lastly, as when you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But when you teach an individual how to fish, then you feed them for a life. And I think that's what this whole heritage has been able to do, to teach the community how to survive, to become a place that you can be planted and that you can also become fruitful. For that alone, by any means or any standards, that cannot be judged.
That's right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was an update on the Tobago Heritage Festival. Mr. Jesse Taylor, Cultural Officer 2 in the Division of Tourism Culture, giving us an update there and a recap as to what happened and his satisfaction levels. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for joining us in studio. Of course, we are going to go to a break and we're going to come back with our next guest. But before we go to the break, what do? Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Are you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards, digital attendance cards, air tags, customized designs, digital clothing tags, digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
Tobago Glass
Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, and of course, thanks for staying with us here on Tobago Updates Television. Remember, you can share the live, and you can also view us on 102 on Amplia. That's station 102 on Amplia. And thank you so much for staying with us. This time we are chatting with a member of the TTPS, in fact, Superintendent, Mr. Rodale Clark. Kirk. Sorry for that one. Good morning to you, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Marcus, and good morning to the Tobago public, those tuning in from whether locally or internationally.
Fantastic. Policing in Tobago. I mean, can you care to provide an update of what would have transpired over the weekend? You know that we have Commonwealth Games happening in Tobago. I know you guys are very busy. Care to share? I mean, good news. I may not want to share any bad.
What I can see so far is that the weekend has been an incident-free weekend, even except that we had a house on fire, and the 1 and 2 usual, but nothing to be alarmed about. What we have noticed is that we have a lot of activities in our space. The calendars of events has increased significantly over the past years, as we noticed. And now that we have the Commonwealth Youth Games, we have been proactive, and this is why you would see our counterparts from Trinidad within the space. It's just to ensure that we maintain that level of safety and security to our delegates and to our citizens and persons who are here to participate in the Commonwealth Youth Games, etc. So I'm just urging the public, don't be too alarmed by seeing the police officers here. It's nothing new. They have been here throughout the Easter. They have been here throughout the Plymouth Juve. And this is how we always do it. So it's nothing new within this space.
Yeah. And right? is it the case that in Tobago we are kind of probably undermanned in that sense, the TTPS?
Well, not to say that we are undermanned, but with all organization there would be challenges.
Right.
And we try to mitigate those challenges whenever they arise. And as I mentioned before, because of what we see now with the increased activities within the space, we have so many other things that we have to do, not just take care of whatever the activities are, but we have to maintain our responsibility with providing safety and security for the island of Tobago. And if we have all our officers engaged in just a few particular things, and that may take away, from our normal duties in terms of keeping Tobago safe. So what we do from time to time is call on our colleagues from Trinidad to come up to provide that level of assistance for us, and which they so willingly do.
That's fantastic. And in terms of the Commonwealth Youth Games, in what capacity the TTPS will be serving? I mean, the island of Tobago and Trinidad as well.
Right. So if you would see our motorcycles are busy up and down, escorting from point A to B. There is one, even at the venues where the activity is taking place, you will see some of our police officers, both in police uniform and civilian wear. This is to ensure, safety, as we say, because we don't want any unfortunate situation to occur while these delegates are here within our island. So these are the roles that we play in terms of providing that level of security and comfort for the persons who are engaged in these activities.
Yeah. And as mentioned earlier, in terms of the July-August vacation, it's customary that you have the officers in Trinidad support the officers in Tobago. I mean, what are some of the reports you get around these times?
Well, the thing about it, where school is out, and where you have a lot of, as we refer to it as the summer activities, there are persons who will come in the space, whether it be visitors or persons coming to do, or commit crimes, etc. You'll find that on an increased level. So we have to be proactive in our approach. Time and time again, you hear people cry out to say, okay, the police need to do more, the police need to do more. So what we are trying to do is make sure that we have it under control so that we don't have to. And when you look at Tobago's uniqueness, whereas our counterparts in Trinidad, if you are in Western Division and you need support, you could make a call and everybody arrive all at once. But in Tobago, we are separated by waters. So hence the reason why you will see, it may take some time, and this is why we need to put it in place before we need to call upon them. So this is that's all you are seeing within this space, is to keep that level of a level of safety, security, confidence in the law enforcement operation. So this is what you are seeing now taking place.
Yeah, fantastic. I know that in my time there used to be this community police initiative. I mean, what are some of the steps you guys have taken? I mean, just to ensure that the public has the trust in the police service in the communities.
Well, what you will see occurring and has occurred within the recent past, we have reached out to the communities throughout Tobago by way of our what we call our station councils and our stakeholder meetings. We recently had one in Charlottesville a couple of weeks ago, and it was well received. This is how we are partnering with the public, because as you would know, Marcus, the public is our key stakeholder. We are charged with the responsibility of serving and protecting, and we can't do this alone. No police service or police force anywhere in any part of the world can't operate in a silo. So part of our initiative is stakeholder engagement, and we are greatly assisted by the community police unit, who are the ones on the ground who would reach out to the key stakeholders within the communities so that we could engage in these meetings to address community issues and, see how we could be of better service to our community.
Yeah, and many times, persons will say they come to the police station to make a report, or they may call and, there's no vehicle available. I mean, is that a situation you guys are concerned about, that, the members of the public, there isn't a trust in the police service to make reports of a particular nature, because, some people say they can't trust the officers. How would you respond to the public's trust in the police officer to do their duties as police officers?
Well, the thing about it, I don't have that. You might hear the one-off incidents in Tobago, but we do get that very often. And what I could assure the public, there are so many mechanisms in which they can engage in terms of dealing with situations where they feel or felt that they were not satisfied with the level of service provided by the police. Many persons even know my number, and they will come personally to my office, if there is an issue, and we will work to resolve it. So I want to urge the public that gone are the days when police officers should tell people that they have no vehicle or they have no thing to respond, because we have 6 police stations within the Tobago space. We have many sections. We have many different units that could respond. So even service station may not be in a position to, there are places or mechanisms in place where they could reach out to. So gone are the days when that's supposed to happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I'm saying gone are the days when it's supposed to happen. And if any member of the public is treated that way, I think they know where the superintendent and senior superintendent offices are and and they could make the trek there or give us a call and we could deal with the situation.
Yeah, and tell me about like recruitment. I mean, when last have you guys done a recruitment call? Because recently I saw prisons doing a recruitment and I was like oversubscribed. I mean, the police service intend to do such a drive anytime soon?
Well, in terms of the wider police service, I can't speak to that. I will have to communicate with our recruitment office to see where that is concerned. But I know recently, as recent as about 3-4 months ago, there was a recruitment drive in the Tobago space to actually recruit officers to fit the Tobago space. We had over about 700 and so close applicants. I think that would boil down to a couple of hundred now. And very soon you should see persons who actually participated in that event. You will see them, going into the academy to receive their training to come back out, and which will be in the Tobago space in terms of boosting the human resource capacity within the Tobago space.
And as we wrap, I mean, with the Commonwealth Youth Games and all that's happening in Tobago during this July-August vacation, before you go, I mean, what would you want to tell the members of the public?
Well, I want to tell the members of the public, don't be too alarmed with the presence of the police from Trinidad here. It is not something that is unusual. We are only here to lend a greater level of service to the members of the public. I know there are this big hype and concern about the licensing officers being on the ground. Again, they are there to do their jobs. We are also here doing our jobs as we have always done. And at the end of the day, I know even you may suffer a minor inconvenience. It is all for the greater good. It's to keep criminals out of your space. And I don't know, Marcus, you could see recently that we had a lot of firearm-related offenses within the Tobago space. And these firearms are actually, they are in the hands of persons who actually traverse our roadways. So when you see the police out there and the presence of the police, it just ensure a greater level of safety and security for you. So don't be too alarmed. Rest assured that we are only there to provide that level of safety and security.
Yeah, and as you mentioned about firearms, there's a deep concern. Firearms are coming in illegally at different ports of entries into Tobago. Some may say even to the fast ferry. You're concerned about those kind of conspiracies thrown out there by members of the public, because where are the guns coming from?
The thing about it, we don't produce guns in Trinidad.
Very much so.
So they have to come from somewhere to reach our shores. Yes, we always collaborate with our counterparts in the Defense Force to assist us in terms of preventing the Defense Force and the Customs, etc., and preventing these firearms from entering our shores. However, when they are here, we have to make every concerted effort in terms of ridding the streets of them. But I know there are plans afoot to put certain things in place, etc., like the scanners, etc., on the port. Those would assist greatly in terms of us, improving our detection of firearms coming through. But until then, the police are working relentlessly in trying to rid the streets of illegal firearms and ammunition.
Yeah, and me being a citizen of this country, and of course, living here in Tobago, I must commend the TTPS for the work that you guys have been doing. I know it's an owner's task, very, very difficult at times. Sometimes you may feel that you're not getting through to the citizens in terms of trying to rid the country of this scourge of this crime wave that we are currently experiencing in Trinidad and Tobago, because we are affected in Tobago as well, even though we think that Trinidad is the island with all the crime that's happening. Sometimes I may want to go to Trinidad for entertainment or for medical reasons, and I'm scared to go because you may think that you may be someone in the wrong place at the wrong time in that sense. But we can see the work that you guys are doing. For me personally, it's not frustrating, but some people believe that the timing sometimes has been wrong in that sense. But then again, crime happens anytime.
Anytime.
So we appreciate all the hard work You guys are like superheroes to us citizens in trying to keep us safe. So thank you so much, Mr. Kirk, for being with us here to this morning. Of course, giving us your regular updates in terms of policing here in Tobago, and we appreciate it greatly. So members of the public, they are not here to intimidate. They are here to protect and serve as they have sworn to do. So please cooperate. Please cooperate. And they aren't in white shirts, yeah? They're in blue. They're in blue. Yes, so guys, thank you so much for being with us here on Good Morning Tobago. In fact, to make up this television, of course, bringing all the issues to you, we're going to throw it over to Candice Jackson, of course. Tobago Notes, yes, thank you. And of course, go out there and support the Commonwealth Youth Games. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Footprints to Freedom, the theme under which Tobagonians commemorated this year's Emancipation Day celebrations. It's a remembrance of the liberation granted to enslaved Africans throughout the British Empire in 1838. It also marks the many struggles and myriad achievements of African ancestors and their descendants. Following the procession from Crown Point to Store Bay, patrons enjoyed a vibrant cultural show at the Store Bay Beach facility. The distribution of awards was another high point during the Emancipation Day celebrations. Winners in the various Tobago Heritage Festival competitions were awarded for their top performances. Just over 20 cultural stalwarts were honored for their decades of contribution to the growth and sustenance of the island's many cultural art forms.
Don't send me flowers when I die, but give me my flowers now. And it's good that, you can recognize and pay homage to the living human treasures while they are around and kicking. And I think I speak on behalf of all the other awardees, the pride and honor they feel, as well as the humility of being honored by the THA.
I feel elated in receiving this award because over the past 20 years, I've been doing a lot of cultural costumes, spiritual clothes. I did for as far as Malik folk performers, a lot of other dance groups within Trinidad and Tobago, and I just feel honored in receiving this plaque today.
This award is a special one. At least I've received a lot of awards before, but this one is special because my mother passed away about 2 days ago, and I received this one in memory of she.
The Emancipation Day celebrations concluded this year's Tobago Heritage Festival activities, which was themed All Are We and All Are Who Are We Be.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly. updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go!
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
The Police Complaints Authority is investigating alleged misconduct of officers concerning conspiracy allegations made by THA Chief Secretary Fali Augustine. In July, he lodged a formal complaint presenting recorded videos of a whistleblower accusing senior officials of plotting against the THA. The PCA is conducting the investigation in Tobago, but the Professional Standards Bureau has not yet received an official complaint from Augustine. He has sought intervention from various independent bodies, including the DPP and the President. Meanwhile, Transport Commissioner Clive Clark declined to engage in a debate about whether licensing officers from Trinidad need permission to conduct road exercises in Tobago. According to a newspaper article, he stated that the issue had already been addressed by the Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan and the Permanent Secretary. The licensing officers were invited to Tobago by the police division to address traffic offences and safety matters. However, their presence has sparked complaints from commuters who find them disrespectful and intimidating. Clark defended their work and efforts to improve road safety, stating that the exercises would likely last for about 6 to 8 days. And nationally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stated that the opposition's promise to introduce stand-your-ground laws and easier access to firearm users' licenses would not be possible even if they win the local government elections. He criticized the stand-your-ground law proposal, stating it mimics the divisive American approach and grants excessive power to licensed firearm users. He emphasized that self-defense is already allowed in the country and highlighted that there are penalties for using threats or force against others. The Prime Minister suggested that if necessary, the existing laws can be reviewed or revised. And that was the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
All right, viewers. So, we've got a lot happening this morning. I mean, as you could see from the news, there's quite a lot of talk about, what's happening with the licensing officers. I know that there was even a call from some members of the public for today for people to stay off the roads. Not too sure how effective that will be. It's kind of hard to stay off the roads with so much happening right now in Tobago, especially with the Commonwealth Games, and especially with just our day-to-day activities and our obligations daily. So, there seems to be a challenge in trying to figure out a way how some citizens, some people who might not be happy with what the licensing division is doing here in Tobago, how they would protest. We're constantly hearing from the police. We even had on this morning on the Tobago Updates morning show with Marcus, we had Officer Roadhill speaking to, the police are just there to do their jobs. And as long as you are following the law, you shouldn't have any concerns. But the question still remains as to why it seems as though the officers, the licensing division is up here at a time when there's so much activity happening in Tobago. There's a need for a lot of people to be on the roads and so on. I mean, we hear the complaints from you, the public, in terms of what it is doing, in terms of, the transportation system, because not everybody has their own vehicles. And a lot of people depend on PH drivers, and a lot of these PH drivers don't have everything in order. And I mean, we know the concerns about that in terms of, there's only a few testing stations in Tobago to get your cars certified and so on. So there's just a whole lot of concerns where that is concerned.
And, people are continually being affected. Transport is so much affected right here in Tobago, especially going up to the countryside, up to the Charlottesville, Lansmead, these areas, Roxborough, all these areas there. People are suffering right now for transport because of the presence of the licensing officers. We need to find a way to treat with our transport system and make sure that our drivers follow the laws. Because truthfully, the laws are there. Some of the laws, the vehicle laws are there to protect and keep our users safe on the roads. But there has to be some balance as to how these laws are enforced, give people a chance to assimilate, even though there have been changes to the Motor Vehicles Act, some things that a lot of people are not aware of that are enshrined in the laws, and people are getting ticketed for certain things that seem so inconsequential. But when there should have been like a warning just to get people adjusted to it. I know we had the Transport Commissioner on with us last week, which was a very enlightening conversation. And if you missed that, you should go back. That happened on Thursday, Friday, with the Transport Commissioner. We had ACP Collis Hazel on, giving us some, advice, instructing us what we should be paying attention to as vehicle owners and so on the roads. But again, the question still begs, they said that there would be some measure of leniency. They would treat some cases on a case-by-case basis so that some things would be let off with a warning. But we're not quite seeing that. But we're seeing a whole lot of tickets being issued, and sometimes for the most minor of things that probably should have just been a warning. As we try to get our public accustomed to the new laws that are under the Motor Vehicles Act. So, there's still quite a lot of conversation in the space about what to do. The Chief Secretary, Fali Augustine, has made it clear that he thinks that this is a war against Tobago. It's part of the government apparatus, as part of the conspiracy to, hamper the work of Tobago right now. We'll see if that is so. Of course, the government denies that. They say that, they're just doing their jobs. But it seems as though, we know that there is some animosity there between the THA and the government. And then speaking of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, over the weekend, we got some updates on what's been happening with the launch or the formation of the Tobago People's Party, the TPP. Now, they are about to launch their party in full on Sunday, the 13th of August. So we're looking forward to the official unveiling of the party, where they would come to the public and they would present, exactly who they are, their symbol, their color, all of these things. We're getting some hints throughout the way as to what their colors and their symbols might be, but we're going to see it officially unveiled on Sunday, the 13th of August. The TPP is officially going to be launched. So that's going to be exciting to see. And it's happening literally a day before the local government elections. We know the local government elections is heating up quite a bit in Trinidad right now. And some of the latest news coming out of that is that there was this video on social media where someone made a very disparaging and very disrespectful video against the Prime Minister. Basically, something about stabbing him in the heart or something very, very, something that's very, very wrong, something that should not be allowed. And of course, we had Minister Stuart Young speaking out against it, because even if you don't agree with the politicians or a political view or a political party or their philosophy, there's no reason for you to inflict or picturize such violence against anybody. You state your disagreements with the political ideologies, etc., or the decisions, or just the way people are doing things, or where the politicians are doing things, but you should never be disrespectful. And we also see that, interestingly enough, the UNC, the NTA, both of them actually condemned that video that's been circulating. Because even if you don't agree, there should be some bit of decorum. And, again, we need to show respect where it's due. It's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to express violent, intense, and so on. So, just something to look forward to. And of course, Mr. Watson Duke with the PDP has been making covering quite a lot of ground in Port of Spain. And, he made his intention clear. He wants to be mayor of Port of Spain, which means that, hey, Tobago might be faced with a by-election pretty soon, depending on what happens in Port of Spain. So perhaps it is, strategic planning for the TPP to be launching on Sunday coming up. So preparing themselves for the eventuality of a by-election in that Roxborough-Argyle seat. Because if the PDP is able to garner enough votes in Port of Spain, in enough votes so that they would be able to select, they would have their choice for a mayor, then we know that Watson Duke is going to be taken out. He made that very clear. He wants to be mayor. But if he has to be mayor, then he has to resign from the Roxborough-Argyle seat, which means that, we're going to be in for a little election right here in Tobago pretty soon. So I know us in the media, we came through, 2 or 3 years of back-to-back elections. So we're hoping that, it remains peaceful for a while. We're not supposed to have any elections in Tobago until 2025, with both the general elections and the THA elections due in that year. But we might be in for a little one pretty soon. But hey, the local government elections right now in Trinidad is looking very, very interesting. There's quite a lot of marginal seats, and it can go anywhere. And we know that the local government election traditionally has lower voter turnout. And the talk is on the ground about, the local government reform and being able to enact it, and how that would affect the burgesses and so on down there. The idea of having the municipal corporations be in a similar way or designed in a way similar to the THA, to be able to, handle the business better in a lot of these regional corporations, the cities, the boroughs, and so on. There's so many concerns about how those areas, how local government itself is managed in Trinidad. And of course, the parties, the opposition parties, both the opposition and the government, both PNM, UNC, etc., they are looking forward to see how these elections go, because how these elections go is often a good indicator of how the general elections go. Which means that after next Monday, after August the 16th, I don't expect the election campaigning to stop. The election campaign might keep going because the focus would be now on general elections. All right, viewers, so we're going to head to a break. And when we come back, we're going to get into some more conversations with you. So don't go anywhere.
Make you sad. I tell them never ever worry if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Summerama, real steam for the summer standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, Standard! What you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more. Standards have what is searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beating on quality and price. Ignite.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobin Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, half-inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Yes, viewers, so I know you all are very concerned about the licensed officers that are present in Tobago. And they say they'll be back. They'll be back pretty soon. We do think they got a couple more days here in Tobago. So unfortunately, a lot of people, it's going to affect the way that a lot of people are, operating on the roads and so on. And just to get you into some of the conversations, or for you to understand some of what the licensing officers have been saying to the public of Tobago, I'm going to cue you into an interview that happened on GMT last Thursday. So just in case you missed some of the information that came out of that, we have it here for you to, sort of catch up and to just get a better understanding of what they say that they are trying to do here in Tobago. And perhaps let's see if we can hold them accountable. So, cueing that now. Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, viewers. We're pleased to be joining you this morning, and we have a very full house here in studio. Being surrounded by some people that, I know some of you want some answers to some of the things within this space. So, first of all, I'm going to start with the man in the middle. Of course, you know him as Assistant Commissioner for the TTPS in Tobago, Mr. Collis Hazel, Officer Collis Hazel. Good morning, Mr. Hazel.
Good morning, Candice, and good morning to Tobago.
Yes. And then also joining him, we have on his right Mr. Clive Clark, who is the Transport Commissioner for Licensing Officers in TNT. And on my right, we have Mr. London Mark, and he is the Fire Prevention Officer for the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. So good morning to you both.
Good morning. Welcome.
And, Mr. Hazel, I'm going to start with you a little bit because, up in the news, we had a couple crime fighting issues in the news here. And first of all, I was wondering if we could give the public any update on what's been going on with that investigation into the THE, just before we get into the business that we're here for.
So, good morning, Tobago. Good morning, all the viewers from all over the world that are looking at us this morning. It is a delightful moment to be in the company of the public as we seek to engage and to share and to sensitize our stakeholders on some of our plans in terms of security and safety on the island of Tobago. Candice, I must say that from where I sit, that the Tobago division, in which I am pleased to provide executive support, leadership, at this point in time, we are doing, I must say, very good in terms of we are experiencing a detection rate of 32% at this point in time. In terms of our crime fighting strategy, we are also observing that we are challenged with some issues of our murder, of course, and in terms of we have some fraud issues that are taking place, and larceny motor vehicle. So these are what really we are paying particular attention to at this point in time. And like we are focusing attention to road traffic accidents.
Yes.
And within the recent past, we would have observed that Tobago have had thus far 6 fatalities, and therefore that is not good for where we sit in Tobago. We have lost one of our very own servicemen from the fire service and a very distinguished young lady to road traffic accidents. And we have been seeing the creeping of these other road fatal accidents taking place. And therefore, it is for us to address these issues of safety. And therefore, why we are extending this partnership arrangement. Likewise, that the fire services play a critical role in safety. And of course, when we're talking road and safety, we're talking the licensing authority. And therefore, we continue to engage, we continue to partner. Of course, that is part of the strategic direction where we operate in the TTPS as part of our pillar. And hence the reason why we are collaborating and working together in order to mutually solve defined problems that are affecting us.
Well, okay, so let's start there. When some messages were circulating on social media, WhatsApp, and so on, and we saw a bunch of officers coming off the ferry. We saw some of the personnel attached to the transport division coming up, and there's the talk that these officers from Trinidad are coming to distress the people in Tobago. So I want to alleviate some of those fears or to bring some clarity as to what's happening, where we're seeing additional officers coming to Tobago, and we're seeing the transport division once again here in Tobago to issue tickets, it seems.
So let me take it from the onset that to put that narrative to an end about the transport officers coming from Trinidad. This country is a twin island republic. And where national security is concerned, there are various arms that continues to work together in the twin island republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So I do not want to hear the public, especially my Tobago counterparts, with what I consider that foolish thought of Trinidad officers coming to Tobago. I am Collis Hazel, the Assistant Commissioner for Tobago and Eastern Division. And as a Tobagonian, I am the representative for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service on the National Safety Council. And I am Tobagonian. And therefore, we want to dispel this narrative about Trinidad coming. I am responsible for Tobago and Eastern Division. So there's no separation in terms of national security and our apparatus in where we are holding our end of the bargain in terms of work. We are sworn to work any and everywhere. And I want to put that to a rest so that we can call on the resources of national security at any part to work anywhere. We want no permission from no one. I want to put that on record this morning. Of course, as I mentioned before, we have stakeholder engagement partnership as part of the strategic partnership of the TTPS. And therefore, anyone in which we want to align with is to help us to work with some of the issues that we are plaguing with. We realized quite recently that outside of the accidents of the RTA that we have been seeing, we noticed that there were some situations where some of the motoring public are not aware of the U-turn system. We are seeing people participating in accidents where our families can be left bewildered, where you have people driving on the nation's road here without any insurance after COVID. You've seen a situation where at the end of the day, and let me just say to you, the Transport Commissioner will explain to you the implication of how deadly that is in terms of on our pockets and in terms of the end users, where we go with that. We have seen a situation in my case where most of the homicides that we are investigating, we have situations where motor vehicles are being used coming via the ferry, coming to Tobago, wrong number plates, and ending up here among our own people here, purchasing them, using them, and committing crime and criminality. And therefore, we have to address these issues, and it is hence the reason why we are organizing these sessions that we are going to be utilizing here to educate, to inform, and to ensure that we act as a catalyst for change in this society where recklessness about the highways and byways. I'm sharing with you that from what I'm seeing on Claude Noel Highway, as we would call it, sometimes you are scared in terms of the motoring public and how they are approaching. The roads continue to be small. They have not developed in any significant way. But what we have is more vehicles on the same road space. And therefore, that is cause for concern. So we have to be able to engage other strategies whereby we can now police the road. And the police can't do it alone. We need our other partners in national security to help us. And hence the reason why we are utilizing all arm of national security in partnership.
And of course, included the Transport Commission. So, Transport Commissioner, Mr. Clive Clark, the announcement of your team here in Tobago has sparked quite a bit of concern amongst the traveling public, and I just want you to speak to the reasons why you are here, in terms of whether or not you're here to mercilessly issue tickets, or whether or not you're here to help our traveling public get to a point where we are all safe on the roads.
Candice, good morning again, and thank you very much, and more so to your listening audience. I think this is a brilliant opportunity for us to clarify a number of things as we seek to give that level of support to the police, as well as to deal with some of the challenges we are facing. One of the key things, though, we need to keep in mind, though, is that our mandate is not just to issue tickets. That's the least of our objective. Basically, we are here to work along to educate, sensitize, and to inform. Also, we have recognized certain behavior, certain habits that if it continues, we will find ourselves where persons, families will be at a major disadvantage. And therefore, we have to treat with that as early as possible. So therefore, we will be conducting a number of joint exercises in partnership with TTPS. We are mindful, we are very mindful of that. And we have picked up certain trends that I think is necessary through our information, as well as educating and sensitizing persons that is necessary that we bring to the fore. We have seen and we have picked up, based on the statistics, based on the U-turn system, which Mr. Winter will talk about some more, because the statistics are there. We are seeing a number of persons who are driving without driver's permit. We are seeing persons who are driving with permits that have been expired and have failed to come in to renew their permits because they may have sanctions on those tickets. We have seen persons, and especially we recognize this environment is a tourist industry, and we have seen some issues where we have even some of our foreigners need guidance, and we think we can liaise with the rental agencies, the taxi association, and so forth, and informing persons what is required for when they are driving on the nation's road. I need to say, if we don't address these issues and we find some way along the trail, a major accident, something ought to happen, as I said, families will be at a disadvantage when come to treating with some of these matters. I want to stress an important point. I don't want us to forget this one here today. I, as Commissioner, has recognized of late through our new inspection system, we have picked up a number of stolen vehicles, and we are also seeing them circulating in Tobago. I'm going to talk about Tobago in terms of that. And what is worrying me, in the past, some of those vehicles have been re-registered into licensing. And some of those, and due to the fact that the inspection system allows us to detect those, we have found situations where persons are acquiring vehicles without doing any due diligence, and then finding themselves in situations when we locate those vehicles. You may have some sort of loan with financial agencies, with different financial agencies, that you can find yourself in problems. Persons are participating in certain transactions because they feel they may have a contact in licensing. So X seeking to purchase a vehicle, I decide to go to a company who might be offering me a one-stop shop service, making you feel just purchase this vehicle. You don't need to go to licensing. I have a contact. I will do everything for you. We have systems now to pick that up. And what we have found, the persons who participated in those activities, 98% of the time is either a stolen vehicle or a knockdown vehicle. By that I mean they cut out the chassis from one vehicle, place it in another, or file over the chassis in that specific vehicle and stamp something else. And I'm saying, though, we are here to protect you from your investment. We are also picking up a number of key offenses. I will just talk about one of them. Mr. Winter will talk about the details. Seatbelts seem to be an issue. The use of seatbelts. Even in
2023.
Yes, even in 2023. And I'll tell you something. I strongly believe if we treat with this seatbelt issue, we will find ourselves in the event there are any eventualities, minor accidents, etc. You will find yourself in a position where we can save lives. And my concern is lives and family. Hence, the Commissioner have serious concern and have decided to team up with the TTPS in addressing these issues in Tobago.
All right, well, I'm going to have to stick a pin there. And viewers, don't worry, we are going to be speaking to a lot more of these concerns that the police are faced with, what they are looking for, what you as drivers need to be aware of while you are on the roads. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor.
Disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full Disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we have a jam-packed conversation for you this morning. We are continuing speaking with ACP Carlos Hazel for Tobago. We have the Transport Commissioner, Mr. Clive Clark, the man of the hour right now in Tobago. And of course, we also have Mr. London Mark, who is a fire prevention officer for the TTPS. And we are talking about road safety this morning because that is incredible, so very much important. Now, like I know, there's a lot of concern, there's a lot of anticipation, apprehensiveness within the space with the presence of the Transport Commission here in Tobago for what, the next week or so?
Yes, next couple of days.
Next couple of days, right? Now, what are some of those things? Sometimes people, they complain, like when they get stopped by the officers, they get ticketed for sometimes something very minor, some things that they may not be aware of. And, you know, they often say, people often complain that the officers are unjust. Why you ticketed me for this? You know, so can you enlighten us as to what some of those things that the traveling public is not really aware of, but can attract fines as well as the merit points on their licenses?
Yeah, thank you very much again. Let me say, though, is that anyone receiving a fixed penalty notice, so we use the term ticket, under the new fixed penalty system, we refer to it as a fixed penalty notice. And there's a number of offenses one can receive a ticket for. And I want to say, though, the officer who may be engaged at the point in time with the driver, we take this opportunity to explain the reason as to some of the concerns we are seeing. We sometimes have, or most times, have a conversation about individuals. And sometimes we discover that these individuals are aware of some of the things that have been taking place. When we retrieve the data from some of these persons, we are seeing where warnings have been issued to them. And therefore, there are times we issue warnings and there are times we issue tickets. I want to say we have a zero tolerance when it comes to things like seatbelt and cell phone. We have seen even yesterday, while we were, just a case in point, while we were leaving our hotel, when I, the commissioner, looked back to ensure the last vehicle came out, and just behind the last vehicle, someone was driving with a camera on top of the vehicle, holding in his hand through his cell phone, using his cell phone and taping. This is the level of defiance we see taking place. And if you look at the statistics, just turning your eyes away from the road, that could be fatal to someone, and therefore you have to call up the fire service and all these different resources and so forth, etc. So there are some offences we have zero tolerance for, and as commissioner, I'm not going to try to butter that. There are some offences we take the opportunity to guide and to advise persons. You need to have these things remedied. While this is not one of the things we have picked up a lot also is that we are finding persons with the heavy vehicles as well as the lighter vehicles, driving those vehicles not with smooth tires. We have gone past that. We are seeing now the canvas and the steel on the tires, and if you own a vehicle, you need to address those issues. Zero tolerance we have on those matters, and we're saying those are things you have a clear choice in terms of treating with those issues. I encourage persons to get their vehicle inspected. Get your vehicle inspected. It contributes towards safe driving. We know there is a challenge in Tobago with the number of inspection stations, etc. Yes. I take the opportunity here again to say that we encourage persons who may have the necessary infrastructure, approach the commissioner. I will have no objection approving garages once you meet the necessary specifications. The specifications, the guidelines, all those things are online on the website. You could simply type vehicle testing stations and you will get all the guidelines necessary to set up an inspection station, and you can even apply online. I can tell you it takes less than 6 weeks to approve a testing station once they have the necessary infrastructure.
And as you raise that matter of the testing stations, is there any sort of mercy being shown to some drivers? Because it really is a challenge with the fact that we don't really have many stations that we can go to get vehicles inspected. And especially with the amount of vehicles, sometimes people are going several days in a row trying to get this done, and they're not always able to get it done within a timely manner.
I'll tell you something, and I hear you and I agree to a point. In January, we had a sort of upsurge of persons seeking to get their vehicle inspected because they know we were continuing and ramping up enforcement on that. I took the opportunity to drive by while I'm here by some of those inspection stations, and I'm not seeing the enthusiasm too. So while that is so, we are not seeing the enthusiasm from persons for doing so. I don't know if there might be a lack of enforcement, of challenges, etc. with that. But I'm telling you, that will lead straight into road fatalities because these persons may continue to drive their vehicles defective. And I'm saying though, as it is right now, between January to now, we are now in August. And basically, I was hoping we see much more vehicles would have been behind the inspection sticker and so forth at this point in time because the opportunity is there. I think for some reason there seemed to be a lack of will to participate in that. And I'll tell you something. If we do not seek to enforce that component of the law, we will find ourselves in problems.
Mm-hmm. And then tell me a bit about, just some of the other infractions that you are seeing out there on the roads. The most common infractions, even with your vehicle, that people are not paying attention to.
Well, we have a particular aspect we tend to want to raise. I want to be specific to what you asked. When we talk about effective fittings on vehicles, and we have seen a number of those. We sometimes try our best to advise persons in terms of having these things rectified. I know the last time we were here, we issued a number of warnings for those, as well as we issued tickets because we saw previously person had warnings and failed to remedy the situation. We tried to build a history and also the TTPS in conducting enforcement. But a vehicle that is defective again could lead to serious problems.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then I want to bring in Mr. Lyndon Mark from the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service into this conversation as well. What would you say are some of the most common issues that people don't pay attention to that leads to accidents that you guys have to be the first responders to?
From our experience over the years, what we realize that speeding is one of the major issues of persons on the roadway. And they are not paying particular attention to the road conditions at the time. But according to the change in the road condition, you have to change your driving habits. And we are not seeing that from persons when they do their driving?
No, there's been a joke within our public sometimes when we're out on the road. It's like you see some of the driving and you wonder if the persons bought their license. Are we cracking down on how people drive after they've got their license, whether it's through legal or illegal means, but ensuring that they really do follow the laws that are outlined? Any one of you all can take it.
Let me answer that first, ACP, if you allow me. I know you will. I know you'll have a field day with that. I just need to say that this is the fundamental. How do we do that? We do that by means of enforcement. We do that by means of having officers on the road. We do that by means of ensuring we have proper traffic signage and so forth, etc. And yes, I know we know the wider or the higher levels have responsibility to ensure we have proper roads and that sort of thing. But as the chief said in the context of is that person must be able to look at the conditions and adapt to what is necessary. What we are doing at the licensing authority, though, is that one of the things we have done in the licensing department, I want to say, yes, this commissioner does not hide to say to the fact. We have seen persons who, when we look at the record, evidence does not show that that person would have been issued a permit from the licensing division. And I'm saying, though, we have now put systems in place to stop that. For you to now have your permit, your Class 3 permit, or any permit from licensing, you have to go through a digitized process from what we call from the inception, from the learner's permit point of view. And that permit will not print unless you participate in a regulations process, because it's integrated. It will not print unless you pay for that service within licensing. And basically, once that permit is created, it is now accessible to the TTPS through their systems. It's now accessible to the insurance agencies. It's now accessible to through the internet, for which one could now validate that your driver's permit. I want to say one time while I'm here, the persons who are in the rental agencies and the taxi agencies, etc., persons who are hiring drivers, I advise you strongly, go online and validate that permit that is presented to you from that individual. Validate that permit to see how many demerit points that person have. Validate that permit to see if it exists within licensing. The opportunity now is there, so you could make proper decision in terms of who you are putting to operate your vehicle.
And we're going to have the phone lines open pretty soon. So you, the viewers, I know many of you have a lot of burning questions, so you would have your opportunity to call in a little bit. So I just wanted to mention that to get yourself ready. And Mr. Hazel?
Yes, this is all about the whole idea of sensitizing persons. The Transport Commissioner spoke to the idea of persons with illegal permit, as I would want to put it that way. And of course, I want to say to you that the public, that time has changed, people have changed, even problems change, technology change, but leadership endures. And it is because of leadership in the new space that we are putting forward all these new technological devices, so that in the past times, it would have been easy for you to get away with just what we had in just the normal permits that anybody could have created. Now, the way in which it is designed and structured and digitized, it is difficult in order for persons to benefit in terms of in that way. And hence the reason why we are here to educate people as well, because people will try their own ways in order to break the system, and a lot of that has been showing up. And before people are being caught, it is important that law enforcement must act as that catalyst for change in informing, education, and educating people. And hence the reason for these sessions. I must say to you, Candice, that later this afternoon, we will be at the library's auditorium, where we are going to have a public session with our taxi drivers, with our rental companies, with our tour operators, because they are strategic people that we have seen that things are happening. And we need to alert persons in terms of some of what we have observed, and to educate them in terms of what is taking place, because you have situations where even people with international permits are coming here, coming on the island. Some of the international permits that they are coming here with, we have our migrant workers are coming and utilize those permits, and there are countries in which would tell you that they have no authority to issue international permits in their jurisdiction. Yet they are coming with permits. People are employing them, and when you put them through the digitized system is when we're picking them to understand that this can't work. The number that is being utilized here as the registration number just cannot fit in our system. We are seeing situations where people are going and buy vehicles and not checking on the demerit points of the drivers. And all these things are causing issues.
And stick a pin right here, because maybe you need to explain that a little bit to the public who may not be aware of some of those challenges and how the demerit points sometimes switches over to the driver of the vehicle.
So I'll hand that over to the transport.
Okay, let me answer that. But we do have Mr. Winter coming up shortly who will explain the system and processes with that related to the demerit points. Very important for the listening audience. I just need to say though, one of the things we practice is that we strongly believe that that when an offense is committed where demerit points exist on a fixed penalty ticket, or any fixed penalty ticket where demerit points exist, yes or no, the responsibility lies on the offender. I want to make that absolutely clear. We take steps to ensure that we could identify the offender, and the offender can more or less treat what is required under the law for the offender. So you find there's what the law allows for, and I'll just touch on this a bit. If for some reason you do not pay your ticket within the required time, there's an escalation, etc. We'll talk about. You now enter into a phase you refer to as sanctions. Right, and the law gives the commissioner the authority to apply sanctions as the case may be on the vehicle or on the offender. The practice is that we place the sanctions on the offender, and we look for whether the vehicle is owned by the offender. So in the event the vehicle shows up to do a transaction, we could now more or less. The whole intention is to ensure when they pay that ticket, that matter is clear. So we look at sanctions on vehicle if it is owner driven, and that's one of the things we need to keep in mind. We at times, sometimes which we have discontinued, sometimes we place we previously at times place the sanctions on the vehicle with the intent when that vehicle come in, we use it as an opportunity to find the offender, but we realize that poses some problems and some challenges. So we have removed sanctions on all vehicles to so we could avoid that situation. And this is why you see we ask persons when they come to license, we require that you bring in proof of address. That has been very instrumental, and hence the reason why we put it on our scheduled form for certain transactions. So indirectly, it's now part of the process, it's part of law, part of the process is put by the Transport Commissioner to help validate these individuals. So we have some other challenges where sometimes we had situations, even though you might have sanctions on a vehicle, on an owner-driven aspect, before the process more or less reached an end, that owner might have sold that vehicle to someone else.
Yes.
When we see those situations, we take the opportunity to remove the sanction because again, though, we have to ensure that in the event that transaction takes place that is heading to another party who may not be responsible, that person don't take the responsibility for that. So we have put additional administrative processes in place to ensure that don't happen.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, viewers, but don't worry, when we come back, you'll be able to post some questions yourself. I know quite a lot of you have some questions, and so the number to call would be 284-6597. So keep that number on hold, and when we come back after this quick break, you can pose your questions.
And the vibes is never wrong. We have beauty, we have power.
Tobago updates.
new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and